think it's not Shkia yet. Today's the Yartzeit of my holy ancestor, the Chavos Yair, who's the Rav in Koblenz and Worms and other towns, and just spent most of his life writing his Chavos and Chuvas and many Sfarim, most of which have never been published. And I would love to be able to maybe someday help some of these Sfarim get published. I know Mechon Yerushalayim has been working on for over 40 years, working on publishing these Sfarim, along with many others. And there's one sefer that probably is my favorite sefer of all the Sfarim of the Chavos Yair that I've gotten a hold of. I believe I have all the ones that have been published, and that is the Mekor Chaim. The Mekor Chaim is the Chavos Yair's parish on Shulchan Aruch, and he writes a lot of very interesting things. In the end, he never published it because he saw that Mogen Avram and others that were coming up, so he felt it was superfluous. But the truth is, it wasn't superfluous. It's really a brilliant work, and really worthwhile for anyone who can get a hold of this sefer. People who know how to learn. It's just a beautiful parish, and again, like all of the writings of the Heilige Zayt, the Chavos Yair, his personality comes out in such a beautiful way that I just really enjoy any time I can learn, because when I learn, like, I wanted to maybe for today make a video with the one of the Chavos and Chuvas, because the Chavos and Chuvas Chavos Yair you can find very easily. It's on Sefaria and other websites, but I'll be honest, I'm not a big enough Talmud Chacham to really be able to give a proper shir, and let's say in a whole shuv of the Chavos Yair, because I don't exactly know how to translate all the words. It's very beautiful, very poetic, and exciting to learn the sefer. But again, I have a very hard time managing it, as opposed to the Mekor Chaim, which still here and there I have problems trying to translate. For the most part, a little bit easier to translate. But I have kind of a go-to Dvar Torah that comes out of the Mekor Chaim that I like to share whenever we talk about the Heilige Zayt, the Chavos Yair. And I love his poetry. He's a very poetic soul, and knew how to put the balance. A very well-rounded individual, and of course a tremendous Talmud Chacham, a tremendous tzaddik, and of course he was from before the time of the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh. But what we understand today to be a Hasidic spirit, zeitgeist, well, not zeitgeist, but that's not the right word. A Hasidic approach, a Hasidic Varmkeit, particularly what you would see among like the Hungarian, the Galicianer. It's a Heimish type of approach. That is something that really you see very strongly in the Chavos Yair. I think particularly, I in a certain way, and this is what one of my Rebbeim said, is that the Hungarian Jews preserved the aspects of Ashkenaz that were mostly lost among the Ashkenazim, although Hungarians now that was Sfard, but nonetheless, of course they still say Yartzeit and things like that, which most of the other Hasidim don't do. But in addition to that, they're very, it's a Varmkeit, but also it's a very traditionalist approach. And so that's the traditionalism is really what essentially, want to discuss. In general, and that's what I find. Even things like, and it's not only. I also enjoy. There's also from Mechon Yerushalayim. There's the Minhagei V'Mizah from Rabbi Yosel Shamish, from Yushba Shamish, and Darton. They published it with Hagos from the Chavos that were from Xaviad. So it's very exciting, also very similar type of approach. And I enjoy that as well. And again, you see things like Lamashal, things that you really only see by the Hungarian Oilam, eating milchiks Sunday night and Wednesday night. It's like a Hasidic Shazach. But you don't see that like by Chabad or other, but like by the Hungarian, and it's actually old Ashkenaz, German custom. And I don't know if the Yek still do those customs. Maybe they do. I'm not sure. A lot of the things that the Yekkes started to do are to go really to the Ikar Adin. We're not saying that they're violating halacha, but it wasn't what was done in the old days. So, like the example of wearing a talis before marriage among the German Jews of today, that wasn't the custom among the German Jews, 400 or 500 years ago. So what I always say is like Germany in the 1600s was much more like Williamsburg than like Washington Heights. No disrespect to Washington Heights, and obviously Washington Heights preserves a lot of the Masorah of Ashkenaz. But even the truth of the matter is, looking at the Chavos Yair and looking at the poetry, I wonder if the mispronunciation, maybe that's a sign it's not a mispronunciation, it's a proper pronunciation, right? That the pronunciation that we associate with Hungarian and Galicianer, Polish, Hasidische, Havara, seems to be what was actually the old Ashkenaz Havara. And it seems that maybe when they learned it was something, they got exposed to Svardim or someone else, is when the Yekkes switched back to pronouncing U as U instead of as E, because in the Chavos Yair, in the back, of course, there's the poetry and so forth, and Narton, we find a zemer that the Chavos Yair's grandfather composed for Hanukkah, and there he rhymes E's and U's together. So, for example, Visha Grusha Meisha, a woman who's divorced from her husband, Oisa Busha, woe to that embarrassment. If you wanted to rhyme, you have to say Oila Oisa Bisha, which is how the Hasidische, the Hungarian and Galicianer Polish Havara is. So it says Isha Grusha Meisha Oila Oisa Bisha, and not Oila Oisa Busha. So, or maybe it just doesn't have to rhyme. I don't know, but I think that points to an idea that most likely that is how they pronounce things in Germany in the 1600s or 1500s. When Bavram Shmuel Bachrach was the Vermser Roof and Kellner Roof. He wrote that when he was Kellner Roof. So, but nonetheless, it's already after Shkia. But all right, we'll be Hasidish and say it's still after Shkia. It doesn't mean it's not the time anymore. We also come across the just a Dvar Torah that I want to share. This is a very beautiful Dvar Torah. So maybe we make a separate video for this, especially it's not the Yartzeit anymore, but these are just some of the things I want to say. but I think maybe I'll say it now and then make a separate video where we'll say it again. So the Heilige Zayda Chavos Yuras Chusik Leinu Al Klisol Amen. He said, it says that if you are not able to mechavan aruchos, you don't know which way is Mizrach or wherever you're standing. But if you're standing to the west of Yerushalayim, so you turn east to Yerushalayim, right? Or whatever way we're facing, but we're facing toward Yerushalayim. We're supposed to be facing the Kasha of the Heilige Zayda says like this: in your mind, be facing toward heaven, to Shemayim. So where is your heart? If you didn't catch that, so Yerushalayim Shalmala, the heavenly Jerusalem, that's where we're supposed to be facing. And so it's not a contradiction. It's both. It's one and the same. So we should be zoiche. The Zohar Kodesh talks about a lot of what we're dealing with today, right? That we see in there's a fight between the Bnei Yishmael and with the people in Eretz Yisrael. And the Zohar Kodesh actually says that the Bnei Yishmael, because of their circumcision, have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael shalmata, here on the land, on the earth. And it's temporarily so. But that's their reward. But we, the Bnei Yisrael, who are Maminim Bnei Maminim, who are in covenant with the Barnish Olam, we rather will have a connection to the heavenly Eretz Yisrael. And that's the main Eretz Yisrael. And we have to stop focusing so much on the earthly Eretz Yisrael, but rather our hearts and our minds and everything should be to the Eretz Elyoina, to the higher, to Yerushalayim Shalmala, the heavenly Jerusalem. That's a much more healthy approach. People don't get killed over the heavenly Jerusalem. So if we focus on that more, and I'm not saying that I support Chas v'Shalom, the Rabber, the Rotzchim, that Chas v'Shalom, no. But Sof Kol Sof in Zidin darf auslernen that we have to focus, like we said, on the Yerushalayim Shalmala, really all the time. And in that way, we'll have the true Shalom and all kinds of good things in the world. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. We'll see you later.